Welcome back to 2Text10 Swamp Watch, where we wade through the swamp, see where these swamp creatures are lurking and what they're really up to. Now today I want to go back in time to like 1990, 1980 and see what Mr. Donald Trump was like politically, or where his aspirations were at, and mindset as well. See what he was thinking. Let's go check it out.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, John.
You are a mover, you are a doer. If you could make America perfect, how would you do it?
Well, I think that America is a country that has tremendous, tremendous potential. I think that much like the mind, I think that America is using very, very little of its potential. I feel that this country with the proper leadership can go on to become what it once was.
So in 1980, he was thinking America wasn't living up to its potential. Well, you know what? Truth be told, nobody's ever living up to their potential. But when you're looking at something you care about and you want to thrive and be successful, whether it's your child, whether it's your brother, whether it's a family member, a business, or just somebody you care deeply about, when you see it not living up to its potential, it disheartens you and you want it to do better. I don't see anything wrong with this statement.
And I hope, and certainly hope, that it does go on to be what it should be.
What should it be?
Well, it should really be a country that gets the respect of other countries.
Is respect the most important thing in your opinion?
Well, respect can lead to other things. When you get the respect of the other countries, then the other countries tend to do a little bit as you do.
Ain't that true? Money, power, respect. So we have money and power, but we give up our respect. Nah, man. Nah.
And you can create the right attitudes. The Iranian situation is a case in point. That they hold our hostages is just absolutely and totally ridiculous. That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror. And I don't think they'd do it with other countries. I honestly don't think they'd do it with other countries.
Obviously.
Yep, money, power, respect. And Iran definitely doesn't respect us. They didn't respect us then. They don't respect us now. And we know they didn't respect us then, because if you go look at the history, and what he's talking about in 1980 is they rushed the embassy in Tehran and took hostages of the 52 staffers that were there. That was under President Jimmy Carter. Not saying he's bad or it's his fault. But the same token, he did launch something called Operation Eagle Claw, trying to go into Iran to get free our hostages. Well, that didn't work out too good. We lost 8 soldiers in that attempt, and we didn't rescue any hostages. So there is something to be said about respect, because if I respect you and you respect me, and something goes wrong on either side, we ain't gonna dick with each other. We look each other in the eye and respect each other and go our separate ways. But when there's no respect, you look that person dead in the eye and you go, what are you gonna do about it? Do something. Simple logic, man. Simple logic. Jesus.
You're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it, and I don't think anybody would have held us in abeyance. I don't think anybody would have been angry with us, and we had every right to do it at the time. I think we've lost the opportunity.
Say he's right. Because didn't we invade Afghanistan after some ish? Didn't we invade Iraq over weapons of mass destruction? These people had 52 of our people. They went straight to the embassy and locked it down and created a hostage situation. I don't see why we shouldn't have gone over there. Yep, we'd be an oil-rich nation. That's what we've been after the whole time when we're out there. Right? Mr. George W. Bush?
For some people, the ultimate goal in life has been becoming the President of the United States. Would you like to be the President of the United States?
I really don't believe I would run it, but I would like to see somebody as the president who could do the job, and there are very capable people in this country.
Sounds to me like he didn't want to do the job. And I totally get that. I like going to work and doing my thing. This is your corner. This is the area you need to work at. And then I just, all right, I'm done with that. What's next? What's next? What's next? But there becomes a problem when you have a superintendent on the job and he's not getting nothing done. Dude's walking around shoving bananas in his mouth and throwing the banana peels all over the place and creating slip falls for everybody else. So you run that one off. And then another one comes. The superintendent does the same thing again. And you get through a third one. It finally gets to the point where you're like, hey, you know what? I'll do the job. And you go through here and you clean up all this mess. Even though you don't want to do that. That wasn't what your intentions were. But something has to be done. I ain't no problem with that mentality. Shit. It aligns with mine. Just fine.
Most people who are capable are not running for office. Most men are frightened of politics today.
It is a shame, isn't it?
Yes.
It is a shame. The most capable people are not necessarily running for political office, and that is a very sad commentary on the country. They had major corporations and they had this and that, but they are not running for political office.
Why?
Yeah, because all the men and women that are capable of doing the job, for one, don't want to take a pay cut. For two, don't want the stress. And probably one of the biggest ones is if you become a politician, you're just going to smear your life all apart. They're just going to talk trash about you, say ugly things about you. The life of a politician is nothing but aggravation. That's what I see. I don't see no happy, smiling politicians. Do you? Not in this day and age.
Why wouldn't someone like yourself run for political office? You have all the money that you possibly need. You've accomplished a great deal, even though you are only 34. I know there's a lot of things that you possibly can do in the years ahead. Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life, and I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile. And that's a sad commentary for the political process.
He's absolutely right. That's a damn good way to put it. It's a mean life. A damn mean life. And the other thing he says makes a lot of sense too. And I have to agree with him, because when he ran for president, he was just out there smiling, waving, and everything he's saying is not in these big articulate phrases and these long drawn out speech patterns. It's just like this, right here, one-on-one, very simple and plain. So he understood that then, and he took the concept and played it here. And it worked out to his benefit. Maybe he does know what he's talking about.
Television, in a strange way, has ruined that process, hasn't it?
It's hurt the process very much. I mean, the Abraham Lincolns of the world. Abraham Lincoln would probably not be electable today because of television. He was not a handsome man, and he did not smile at all. He would not be considered to be a prime candidate for the presidency, and that's a shame, isn't it?
But if all the men are like you, then when are we going to get somebody who might be good?
I don't know. I hope it's around the corner, but I don't know. I really don't know. What I would like to be involved in is trying to help choose somebody, or working with a group of people whereby they put up a candidate who would be acceptable to be a presidential, to be the president. The country, if we had the one man, and it's really not that big a situation. People say, well, what could anybody do as president? The one man could turn this country around. The one proper president could turn this country around. I firmly believe that.
He's right. TV is politicized. And if you can't act and you don't look good on TV, you don't get the time. Or if you don't fall into the Clinton News Network programming, you don't get the time. Right, Tulsi? And another thing, he's right. One man could have done it, can do it. If anything, he was describing the future with him in it. Maybe he didn't realize it in the time. Because isn't that what he's doing right now? One man taking control of the helm, and he's turned the ship around. Doing better economically, doing better work-wise, we're doing better as a nation. The only problem is that the media publicizes a divide and all this racial ambiguity. What the hell's going on out there, man? I walk outside these doors. I don't bump into racists and killers and crazy Antifa people. I bump into my neighbors. The only problem is everybody isn't going outside and talking to people. They're just talking shit online. And then when they go outside, they're all acting suspect because they're worried that they're going to get caught talking trash. Walking around with that nervous energy all damn day. Can't get right, man. Can't get right.
If you lost your fortune today, what would you do tomorrow?
Maybe I'd run for president. I don't know.
Well, it's 2019, and now you're Mr. 45. Gonna be 2020, and you're gonna be Mr. 46. Let's get this. Here's a Phil Donahue interview right here. Actually talking like he is a politician. Well, not like a politician, because they don't even like the way he talked back then.
You should not have called Mayor Koch a moron. That was not good public relations.
Hey, what can I do?
Well, doesn't it, isn't this, aren't you a little, don't you want to take this back
I don't think
at
that's
all?
bad public relations. No, I don't take it back. When it comes to running the city, he's about as bad as anybody I've seen. Ed Koch has been a disaster for New York. People that live in New York understand it. Taxes have gone through the roof. Everything's gone through. You have, whether it's a Woolman rink or a subway system, whether it's a school that comes in, it takes 8 or 9 years.
Excuse me, but here you're out with your folks at City Hall getting your picture taken. Was it the good old days?
Well, I guess he liked me in those days.
Back then they were trying to get him to be politically correct. You know, you could remove the Koch name and put the Clinton name, and even with that picture, and then just say this was 2016. And it sounds like all the same parameters. Calling it like it is. They were good friends, according to the picture, right? Just like with the Clintons. And now they have such animosity and hatred for him. Just like Koch did.
And this is, and I don't think you have to be passionately committed to City Hall or anybody to conclude that this kind of language from someone of your power and influence is not good style.
Phil, from my standpoint, it doesn't really matter. Again, I'm not running for office. If the point is made better by saying that, let the point be made. He's done a lousy job as the mayor. Anybody from New York probably understands it and knows it. It's gone down now, and it's going down as the most corrupt. Hey, Phil, this is the most corrupt administration in the history of the city.
They have their problem.
Let's think about this. A little food for thought. If Trump came out in 2016 and announced his candidacy for president and was all apolitically correct, using a high vocabulary or being articulate, and his vernacular and his bluntness was all casted aside, we would see it as a farce and know he was being a fraud and a fake. And that's not why he got elected. He got elected because he wasn't a part of the establishment. He wasn't a politician. He was something different. And on top of all of that shit, he was Donald Trump. He was himself, true to his word. And his actions didn't change, and neither did his demeanor to become something he wasn't. He became something he should have been and is, at least as far as my mindset is concerned, because it would make no sense to me to vote for somebody pretending. Well, I guess you could vote it for Hillary. She was pretending to be an American. That's a disenfranchised, manipulative, conniving, deceitful, ungrateful. Oh my goodness. I could keep on going and going. But we don't need to. This ain't going to be an hour-long video.
I happen to agree with your assessment of Mayor Koch in New York City. What do you think will finally have to happen to bring his downfall?
Well, I have a feeling, and maybe it's more of a prediction. I think that the incompetence and corruption of the Koch administration will eventually lead to his resignation or his just having to be forced out, because I think he's that bad. And as Phil says, I don't like mincing words, because what difference does it make? Again, I'm not running for office, so it doesn't matter. I can stand up here, and unlike a lot of people that I watch, I can say what I think. But that's much of a prediction. I believe that the incompetence and corruption will ultimately lead to his having to get out.
We could copy and paste all that phrase and transport it into 2019. He could say the same stuff about a lot of these cats out there in the political atmosphere. I'm just glad he stayed true to himself and didn't bend his or mince his words for anybody. That way, average Joes like myself can understand what's going on and know that when he's saying something, he's saying it from here and here, not from over there, from where he's being told to say something. Nah, man. Got time for that. Yeah, he's a little bit egotistical. Sometimes the eagle's got to fly. You know what I'm saying?
When I see a total ripoff of this country by Japan, where they literally have no defense budget, where we have to borrow money from them in order to get them oil and defend the Persian Gulf, where most of the oil goes to Japan and other countries, not us. we get 4% of our oil. When I see Kuwait, a total ripoff, we're bringing the Bridgeton. You remember the Bridgeton? Their oil minister sat back and he laughed at how much money he's going to make. Why aren't we getting some of that money? Why aren't we getting it? They're taking in billions and billions of dollars, and we can't even land a helicopter on Kuwaiti soil. You tell me that's right. Saudi Arabia, they wouldn't even be there except for us. And in Saudi Arabia, we couldn't even use their minesweepers, Phil. You know it. We said, could we use your minesweepers? Ours are old, outdated, not worth a damn. They said, no, you can't use our minesweepers to protect the Persian Gulf. I mean, it's a disgrace. What's going on?
Well, but guarantee you Saudi Arabia wouldn't say no now. They're buying our military. They're paying their dividends. They're doing what they got to do, huh? Because of one man. There's a difference. It wasn't that easy back when Bush was in office, or Clinton, or Mr. Obama, the savior of all the minority races. Come on, man. Things are getting better. Things are going better, except the media keeps trying to put a divide and a wedge between all of us. I don't care if you're a Democrat, you're conservative, you're liberal. I don't give a damn about none of that nonsense. If you can sit down with me and we can have a discussion about your point of views and my point of views, and you don't try to stab me in the neck, we agree to disagree, then I got no problem with you, brother or sister. When you agree to disagree, the in-between is where you find peace. Son of a...
On his enemies. If people screw me, I screw back in spades.
I mean, is there something wrong with that? Tell me. Phil, is there something wrong with that?
Well, a confrontational kind of, I'll get you used.
You keep saying you're not running for office, but why don't you run for mayor of New York?
No, I wouldn't want to run for mayor of New York. I'd like to see somebody talented do that, and there's a tremendous potential in New York. New York is the great city. It's one of the great places of the world, but I really have no intention of running for mayor. Thank you.
But you definitely are a political person, whether you run for office, by what everything that you say and do points in that direction.
Should have polled that audience. Sounded like everybody there was in agreement for him to be some kind of political figure or politician. They wanted to run New York City. One of the biggest, baddest cities on the planet. What changed? The political atmosphere? Or how about the media's ability to inundate us with all kinds of nonsense and bipartisan stories? Look, man, it is what it is. We got to be able to disagree so we can find some peace. Anyways, man, I appreciate y'all stopping through, listening to my little gift of gab. This has been 2 Text 10 Swamp Watch. Until next time, peace.